I am the first of the gay frogs to come out and speak to you firsthand of all the tragedies that's been going forth. First, we're going to get an update from Twitter, see how they doing. Let's see. Oh, it says that Twitter is the fourth most hated brand in America. What does we come to whenever we can't have no Twitter? It also says that about 9% of adults across 30 countries around the world now identify as gay. Looks like my gay agenda has gone forth and spread around thanks to chemicals that I have spread. And then you look at more graphs. It's everywhere, just as the Lord intended. Anyways, next we're going to look on some drag show outrage. I don't know why there is so much outrage over people just having a good time, but it's what we got to deal with now. We have had several drag shows canceled over threats, and there's no need for this side of shenanigans when we should have the fun type of shenanigans, like dressing how the hell you want. What the hell's going on with all this? So, as support for gay pride in the Tri-Cities is growing louder, we keep having so much of this nonsense going on that it's just becoming unbearable to deal with, and we just can't have that. We really need to stop all this nonsense, folks. And people complain about safe spaces, but that's just a way that you can just, exist, and it'd be all cool. But who knows? What am I to say? I'm just a frog. But there's going to be family-friendly events and so many vendors, and it's supposed to be the largest crowd ever. So this is all good news. Hopefully they continue and say fuck you to all the haters. If there's one thing I hate more than else, it's all the haters. So basically anyone who wants to come out and be yourself in the gay space should be allowed to do that. I don't see a problem with this. This is great news too. Statistically, there's a 40% drop in gay self-harm suicide attempts. That is awesome news. You know why that happens? That happens because people are allowed to be people, and that's all we ever want. All we want is to be accepted out there, and I'm all for this. Gay pride is starting to go out, and there is nothing stopping us, which is hella awesome. So, also in Florida, there's been talks of people getting involved in gay days. Let's hear what they got to say.
You know, when you can walk down the street and be who you are, even if it is just the main street at Disney World.
Gay Days at Disney, a week-long event that brings in more than 100,000 people, has become the go-to attraction to kick off Pride Month.
They embrace our people, the creativity, the love that we share, the love that we give. It's great to have that love given back in return.
Disney has been a longtime supporter of LGBTQ rights, but the recent Don't Say Gay law.
That's because Disney is gay as hell, has been, always will be. This is just them being fabulous, and everyone's just doing what they want. There's nothing wrong with gay days. It's just what it is.
Law passed by Florida lawmakers has raised concerns among park goers.
It's very frightening down there right now for, our community. One reason why I am going is we have a lot of brothers.
Now, if you are in Florida, I say do what you can to be safe, but it's also important to put yourself out there if you can and be a community and be together, because don't sit up with none of this nonsense, because we are better and stronger in numbers.
Sisters, siblings, and allies down there that I feel need to know that we love and support them.
Arguably the highlight of Gay Days, Red Shirt Days are when participants wear red shirts to different parts to celebrate their identity or support others.
You're visible, everybody knows everybody, or at least they recognize everybody. The fun thing was all of the bears went to the Country Bear Jamboree at the same time, so that was a fun little sing-along. It's a big burly person in the community. You can even be bear if you're not big and burly. We don't care. Just show up and be yourself.
A bear is anyone who wants to identify as a bear, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, gay days are kicking off in Disney, and that's a hell of a good thing. I have no problem with gay days. They need to be gay as possible, often as possible. So hundreds of thousands of gay travelers are expected to descend to Florida for their gay days, which gay days is something I've just heard about. But anything that's going to support the community is A-okay with me. Looks like they're supposed to meet up. I'm assuming that's in Orlando where they have Disney World. But DeSantis is having a war against Disney, which is a dumbass war because it's Disney, which is one, gay, always has been gay. It's Disney. Have you seen all the musicals that they make? That's just like their bread and butter. So I don't think that's really going to go anywhere. They've been passing all these laws to just target the gay community, and I think gay days is a great way to fight against that. So it looks like gay days began Thursday, and I just want to see more cool drag performers, and I want to see more people just go out and do their own thing, because everyone's beautiful in their own way, and I just want to see them show it off. So most of the events for gay days begin Thursday at the beginning of Pride Month. So it looks like it started the 1st. And they're going to start with Red Shirt Days. Red Shirt Day, Pride Day of Orlando. It's an annual tradition, invites you to wear a red shirt to the Magic Kingdom on the 1st of June. I think it's weird that they went with red, but whatever. Social has grown to become longest, most iconic events in gay history. Red Shirt Day became global phenomenon 1st June. It says it's a global phenomenon, but I've never heard of it. You know what? I'm for sports if it's just like everyone just having a good time. I think people just need to chill with the rules of sports, and as long as everyone's having fun, that's the rules of the sport. Okay, whatever. They just want to have a red shirt and have that mean we're getting together to be gay, and that's cool. It looks fun overall. I just think red's a dumb color for it. So yeah, it looks like the sheriff's trying to protect the gay days in Disney, which, you know, Disney owns the cops in that area, so of course they want to protect their gay days in Orlando. Gay people are flocking to Florida for gay days. Tens of thousands of people are flocking to Central Florida this weekend to go theme park ride. Okay, so gay days. It seems like it is cool to have more days where gay people can be gay people, but it definitely feels like rainbow capitalism, where they just want people to come out to be open and gay so you can buy their fucking expensive ass pretzels and ride their rides and go to their fucking $50 a meal restaurants. But you know what? I don't hate it. I just think it's slightly annoying. This part's cool. Dance all night at parties. As long as your drinks aren't too expensive, that you can go out for a reasonable price to do that. Even though DeSantis have championed new anti-gay laws, spurring the most prominent gay rights groups in the U.S. and other civil rights organizations issued warnings to the Sunshine State, gay organizers are still encouraging visitors. That makes sense. With these gay days, one thing I am glad is people are still being like, fuck you, we're going to go to this gay day, and you're not going to stop us from existing as ourselves. Right now is not the time to run. It's not the time to go away. It's time to show we are here, we're queer, and we ain't going anywhere. Hell yeah! Unlike most of the country, which celebrates Pride in June, Orlando holds its Pride in October. Gay days is... Okay, that's interesting. Throughout the years, the Pride Chamber, previously whatever, they saw the need for the Pride Festival focused on building unity and open dialogue with the community, as well as encouraging the rest of the country to rally by our side. We worked to influence Florida legislators create more inclusive laws. In 2005, Come Out with Pride was formed in cooperation with the Chamber. This allowed new organization to have their own board of directors mission for the community. Since '05, it has grown to a major pride event, becoming the largest pride festivals in Florida. And, okay. Sounds like it just kind of sprang up and they decided Florida to be Florida instead of doing it in June with the rest of the country. You know what? That's fine. Whatever. October spooky time and gay time. It's not lost on the organizers that the highlight of the weekend will be a Saturday meetup of gay visitors to the Magic Kingdom, which started in '91. Yeah, I'm always for more gay. Really more everything. As long as you're not hurting anyone, just do your thing. Traditionally, participants wear red shirts, and they met in the afternoon in front of... So, it sounded like it was because it was connected to Disney. I wonder if it's because Winnie the Pooh wears a red shirt, and so they just decided to wear red shirts. And then they first met in front of Cinderella's castle. Currently, Disney is embroiled over this asshole to publicly oppose legislation to have... But, like, it's kind of giving me the vibes of back of the don't ask, don't tell. That's it. Which I think DeSantis was in the military whenever that was still a thing. Anyways. At first, the law banned classroom instruction. Yeah, of course, because it always starts with don't fucking say it, and then it turns to you don't get to exist. But this year was expanded to all grades. Yeah, because they're like, oh, we're protecting the kids, and kids is anyone in the state. Yeah, I'm hoping it gets, like, repealed or something. I don't know. We need to fight against this stupid shit. Top all that, Florida recently passed... Yeah, a lot of states are passing a lot of no health care for trans people. Like, oh, you can't have it if you're kid. And by kid, we mean anyone. Again, it's always, no, we're protecting the kids. And by protecting the kids, we fuck over everyone. Move to revoke liquor licenses of hotels performing drag shows, of course. It feels like a competition between Texas and Florida to be literally the worst state, which is really hard because Alabama's right there. I think in every state, no matter what's going on, what happens from the top down, which top down is what brings a lot of this hate. If you go to the big cities, there are safe places for people because that's where more people can organize and get together and feel safe together. So even if the state level's doing something shitty, you'll find safe havens in the middle of the big cities. And we just got to push out a lot of these fucking assholes that literally, in some cases, drive from out of state to go to the big cities to pick on drag shows and shit. And it's like, motherfucker, you don't even live here. Go away. So it looks like St. Cloud. I don't know. Yeah, St. Cloud near Orlando. I think St. Cloud is a small ass city. They've canceled their pride events altogether. That makes sense. Small ass cities probably don't have the protection they need for it. It's because they literally have nothing to do. They're probably a fail son, or they run a company, or it's a bunch of losers in their mama's house that just want to drive out and cause a problem for people just having fun. And like, what are you doing? And you're right. They're just wasting. Their enjoyment comes out of wasting your time. So the best to do is to literally ignore them. But we can't let them. We can't let them intimidate us, but that is the solution, is to find ways to ignore them. These laws have created a climate of fear and hostility for gay people in Florida. Yeah. We believe that holding a gay event in the environment would put our community at risk. I believe it, but I think the solution is to, properly protect these events, not cancel them, but also do whatever you can to stay safe. Responding to Florida's new laws and policies, human rights recently issued a travel. Yep, I saw the travel location to not go to Florida. I guess because I know several states are doing real shady stuff right now and to attack gay people, but I guess Florida is just on another level with it. And I think it's only because DeSantis is running for president. So to stand out, he's being the biggest gay hater out there. While gay advocacy group said it wasn't calling for a boycott to travel to Florida, it said it wanted to highlight the new laws passed by the Florida legislature that's hostile to the gay community and restrict abortion access, as well as make the state unsafe for many by allowing people to carry concealed weapons without a permit. I think they've done this in several states. There are several states that have been. Yeah, I think this is recent too. Constitutional carry is such a dumb word for it because there is no constitutional protection to carry. It's just your dumbass imagination saying you can carry. So I don't think this was a thing a couple of years ago. I think at least you had to have a permit until fairly recently. So I think a lot of these popped up after Trump lost his last election. So this is all kind of new. Yeah. Like, most of the people will just carry a gun anyways. They just want the cops to not bother them about it. And, like, what the hell? No one feels safe when you do this shit. The only people who, not even the people who carry guns feel safe carrying guns. They get paranoid that everyone else has a gun, so then they use it as soon as they can. Some of them are horny to use their guns, and those are the people you need to look out for. But they think they're protecting their community when it's like, no, motherfucker, you're endangering the community. Your existence annoys everyone. Go away. So yeah, I think this is like within the last 3 years-ish, a lot of this shit happened. Some participants in the Pride Cup athletic competitions decided not to come, forcing cancellation of dodgeball, flag football, but the multi-sport competition held annually in Gay Days will still have beach volleyball, golf, pickleball, and kickball. First off, ban golf. Golf fucking sucks unless it's mini golf. It's a boring-ass sport where people have to drink just to have a good time. Fuck you, golf. Also, I think flag football should replace normal football because I think no matter what you do to football, it will always be unsafe as long as tackling is normal. So I think flag football would get rid of it. And a lot of people would hate it at first, but you know what would happen eventually? They would get used to it and shut the fuck up. And then you wouldn't have as many people fucking going crazy and murdering their family just because they played football for a couple of years. Even before these travel advisories were issued, some regular Florida visitors were reconsidering their plans. Yep. I mean, I've never been to Florida. I kind of considered it at once, but not now. Fuck that. Sarah, who lives in Atlanta with her husband, decided not to visit the state after lawmakers started legislation to restrict treatment options for trans people. Yeah, there is some laws in Florida that if they suspect you of being trans, they will kidnap your children. And it's like, what the fuck? This is stupid. Also, if you're in Atlanta, you also have a lot of shit to worry about because of all the fucking fascism they're doing. Yeah. There is a law that if they suspect you of being trans or helping out your trans kid, they will literally send the police to kidnap your children and put them in foster care because fuck you. That's why. And also what's going on in Atlanta right now is there's something called Cop City where the cops want to spend like $90 million to build a fake city so they can go blow it up for fun. And anyone who's complaining about it, yeah, it is crazy and super stupid. Anyone who's complaining about it gets arrested, And if you post bail for anyone they've arrested, they go out and arrest you. And they say, "Oh, you're doing charity fraud because you spent $30 on a sign for your yard." It's starting to become really aggro out there. Yeah, like I said, we need to band together to fight the stupid. But a lot of it has to come from the top. We need to get more pressure on the top to stop all this shit. Also, you have to remember there's a difference between illegal and immoral. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's wrong. And some of these laws are made just to criminalize existence. It's less a crusade and more like, I'm not going to spend my money where bad things are going on. Yeah. But the organizers of gay days and their supporters say that Orlando is a gay-friendly city as they come. I believe, like I said, the big cities are where you're going to find safe havens for any niche community. I don't know. Well, yeah, I could see Orlando being pretty gay. Earning a perfect score in Human Rights Campaign Index, which measures how inclusive cities are of gay people and visitors. They say tourists can support gay community by visiting cities like Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and St. Petersburg, which also receive perfect scores. We live in a bubble here in Orlando, or even with the chaos in Florida, we still feel safe here. Gay Days has survived past challenges, including the early years when Disney posted signs at the Magic Kingdom entrance warning visitors that there was a gathering of gays and lesbians and offering passes to other parks for guests who might be offended. What? No, fuck them. If they're offended by Gay Days, you're not welcome here is what I say. But like I said, it's a corporation. So they're like, we're going to do this thing for the gays, but if you're offended by the thing we're doing for the gays, free tickets. Which that makes me just go, yeah, I'm totally offended. Give me those gay tickets. And then I attend Gay Day anyways. Over the last 3 decades, though, the theme parks and resorts have thrown down the welcome mats as Gay Days has become a profitable bounce between the spring break and out-of-school summer crowds. See parks, yeah. Exactly. All we want to do is exist. And if you are bothered by that, that's a you problem. Other groups have adopted hostile attitudes in the past. During Gay Days in the 90s, hundreds of anti-abortion activists with Operation Rescue, what a dumbass name, protested outside of Walt Disney World, and the Southern Baptist Convention cited gathering and calling for a boycott of all things Disney. They always do this shit. Like, they forget Disney's really gay. So then when they notice, they're like, we need a boycott again. And then it doesn't go anywhere because everyone likes Disney. Because gay is cool. And they don't get that because they're not cool. And also, it's always the anti-abortion people that are also anti-gay. Because they literally don't know what to do with themselves. Exactly. It's like the gayest corporation. They probably invented the rainbow flag. If Clark, the CEO of Gay Days business, had his wish, DeSantis would accept an open invitation to see if the drag shows come out and see that everything you hear is not reality. And that's the thing is, he's not picking on the drag community because he doesn't know about it. In fact, he probably doesn't know anything about the gay community in general because he's just a hater. But he's doing all this for brownie points with people who just hate gay people for existing. So it doesn't matter what he does. He's always going to hate gay people. There's a part of me that hopes that if he were to see a show, maybe his mind would change, or maybe he would see the people his actions are affecting. That's the thing is, he don't care. Yeah, I mean, sometimes whenever you get these haters that start hating on something, they become more knowledgeable of it than the people doing it because they have to learn how to hate on it properly. But that's the thing is, they're always just going to hate on it because that's their point, is they just want to hate on it. So it looks like Gay Days are going off, and hopefully the cops will protect it. It sounds like in the big cities they're doing fine, but all the small cities are canceling it. So I heard about this recently too, how Elliot Page was told being gay doesn't exist. Like this happened back in 2014. But Elliot Page was talking recently how being gay doesn't exist, and this is such a common thing that lesbians hear. It's that old annoying phrase of "you just haven't had the right dick," and it's like, no, if I want a dick, I would go buy one. I don't need yours. In his upcoming memoir, Pageboy, that is kind of a cute name for Elliot Page's memoir. Oscar-nominated actor Elliot Page reveals he was once confronted by a homophobic actor at a birthday party in Los Angeles in 2014. Shortly after Page publicly... Elliot's been out as trans so long, I keep forgetting they were ever a woman. So part of this story confused me at first, where I was like, what do you mean scared of men? He is a man. I'm like, oh yeah, not always. The year was 2014, shortly after Page publicly came out as gay during a speech made at a human rights campaign conference. I'm here today because I am gay. And also, I've heard people confused, like, how are you gay and trans? It's like, because these are labels, and you're the one who needs these labels. We use these labels to help each other in the fucking gay community. If you're not a part of it, don't fucking worry about it. Be confused. That's what I am. My gender is confusion. Page told the crowd. Page later came out as transgender in 2020. Page writes in a chapter aptly titled Famous A-Hole at Party. An actor that he considered an acquaintance approached him at the party and said, "You aren't gay. That doesn't exist. You're just afraid of men." It was like, I mean, if I'm afraid of men and I want nothing to do with them and I'm gay, it's all still valid. You can just fuck off. Page writes that the actor also threatened him by saying, "I'm going to fuck you to make you realize you aren't gay." That's aggro, and anyone who says that isn't getting fucked that night. Yeah, it's like, why do you care? When Page saw him at the gym a few days later, the actor tried to walk back his comment saying, "I don't have a problem with gay people, I swear." And Page was like, "I think you might." And it's like, yeah. Like, the reason lesbians have always been more accepted than gay men is because if straight men can whack off to it, they will accept it on the caveat they can fuck you eventually. And it's like, that's the secret. You're never fucking them. So shut the fuck up and go stand in your corner. Yeah, I mean, if you have those intrusive thoughts that are like, I really want to have sex with this, don't make it that person's problem that you want to have sex with them. That's your problem. Go masturbate and then come back like a normal person. I've had some version of that happen many times throughout my... Yeah, I think so many lesbians have had some story of, you just haven't had the right dick their whole life. So it makes total sense Elliot's had to deal with this many times. I don't know if coming out as trans will that lessen that. I think it's probably, as long as a man sees you as a woman, they're always gonna think something like this. I'm just like, this is just like, here's the thing. So many things about anti-whatever, it's just about politeness. Like, if you're just polite to someone, you won't say shit like this. So if you just said less stupid shit and kept your dumbass opinion to yourself unless it was asked for, a lot of these problems would go away. But we can't have nice things because so many people are entitled to make people hear your opinion whether you want to hear it or not. Page told People, which I think is the magazine, about including the story in his book. A lot of queer and trans people deal with it incessantly. Yes. These moments are that we often like don't talk about, or we're supposed to just brush off when actually it's very awful. Yeah. So yeah, I guess being trans won't limit that type of interaction. Like I said, as long as a man feels entitled to your body, they will say whatever they want to do to it. And it's like, no one cares. Shut the fuck up. put that story in the book because it's highlighting the reality, the shit we deal with, and what gets sent to us constantly, particularly in environments that are predominantly cis and hetero. I think if we shame this type of activity more, like Elliot's doing, it'll have an overall good, because a lot of people are just ignorant and they don't know. Shut the fuck up. Don't say shit like that. So if we put it out there as, that's embarrassing of you to say, less people will do it. And if we have one less person shut the fuck up, or one more person shut the fuck up, overall, it'll be good for everyone. Page added, I'm purposefully not sharing his name, but he will hear about this and know it's him. I'm mixed on it because I personally want to know, but also if it gets him privately to hear this and feel shame, good. Fuck him. Hear this. Learn to shut the fuck up, and we can all move on with our lives. Hopefully he never does this shit again. Okay, so recently in Israel, some weird motherfucker is saying parents are turning their children gay. This is the same dumb shit we hear in America. If there's one thing America likes to extract, it's our dumbest ideas. And someone will latch on to our dumbest ideas and make it other people's problem. Likud, I'm going to go with Likud. Likud caused outrage when he suggested Israeli parents are influencing their children to become homosexual when asked about his thoughts about ahead of the Jerusalem Pride March interview with Neset channel on Wednesday. Yeah, this is a you problem. Don't make it a me problem. If you're suggesting that there is a pro-gay curriculum, there are people who encourage children to be gay. They give their child a doll because they think the child needs to be a homosexual now, but this is not right. Nobody should influence people. Neither Avi, Moaz, nor secular people, Veturi said. That is such a weird thought. Like, the common phrase I've heard is, if someone convinces you to be gay by talking to you, you were always gay. They didn't need to do much convincing if they convinced you to be gay. There's no need to advertise things. There's no need to advertise being gay. The child should choose what to be, religious, secular, or gay. People need to choose the path for themselves, the MK added. Yeah, but when you say there's no need to advertise, yeah, there fucking is, because you won't shut the fuck up about it. And, like, it's a you problem. If me saying I'm gay bothers you, you go deal with it in the corner. No one asked you. Roe Newman, one of the leaders of the protest against the government's plans for judicial reform, strongly attacked Vittori in response and wrote on his Twitter account. Oh, okay, so this is him attacking the other person. Wow, I don't know where to begin to explain this to the gay-phobic scum Vittori. This is a great phrase. I grew up in an environment where I didn't know one gay person. I didn't play with dolls, and I'm still very gay. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's making anybody gay or trans instead. I grew up with an insane fear that people would find out that I'm gay. Yep. I wouldn't say parents are trying to make their kids gay, kind of just like give the kids something to think about so they aren't confused about it when they make their choice. Yeah, also I think choice is a real strange word for it, because you're not choosing anything. You're just choosing to tell people what you already are. And people go through a discovery with that. And yeah, like you said, people are just giving their kids the tools that they need to, like you said, discover themselves. And if that involves having dolls of all types, then cool. If not, whatever. So yeah, but Israel has long been, I think as long as America gives Israel support no matter what, it will always have these unhinged takes come out because they feel emboldened to do whatever they want. And they're one of the biggest problems in the Middle East right now, because they keep being aggressors, and then because America has their back and they're being a dick. And again, when you're just a dick for the sake of being a dick, you're going to start targeting your smaller communities. And one of the smallest communities is the gay community, even though everyone's a little gay, except for like 3% of the population. So It's a lot of times, a lot of these anti-gay people come out to be gay too because they don't like that about themselves. So they hate on people that are obviously out. So they can pretend like they're not gay or not a little attracted to the same sex. Yeah, the Uganda president signs a anti-gay law that includes the death penalty. And I want to hear more about it. Uganda, because Christians have gone over to proselytize in Uganda and make it our problem. They've been spreading a lot of hate there, and it's been their mission to make Uganda as anti-gay as possible. It's really sad.
Life in prison, even the death penalty for being gay? In Uganda tonight, that's reality after President Yoweri Museveni signed one of the world's most draconian anti-gay laws, triggering an international backlash, threats of...
I mean, so, okay, religion's a tool. That's what it is. And people's spirituality is a personal thing. And religion can be used in great ways. Religion can be used in awful ways. If you're a hater, your religion's going to be hating. And that's what a lot of these quote-unquote Christians that hate gay people are. Is they're just freaking haters. So they're going to spread their message of hate, and they hope other people will hate with them. And when you spread hate, that literally leads to you killing people because you hate this person and you think they hate you back because all you have is hate on the brain. And now you're just killing people who are your neighbor and you don't like them because they exist. And it's like, what the hell? I just want to eat my soup. Go away.
Punishment from the U.S. and fears of other African nations following Uganda into an LGBT crackdown.
This is not where I would like to be.
This Ugandan LGBT activist had to flee their country, now living in exile.
You are arresting us for literally doing nothing, for simply existing, but where are we supposed to go?
Exactly. A lot of them, they're like, I just don't want you to live in my backyard. And it's like, okay, where do you want me to go? I don't care. And it's like, no one else wants these people too because they want to do their own thing. And people consider people immigrating to your country as an invasion or whatever. It's like, it's not. It's just people moving around, and these borders are bullshit. The thing about Africa is before freaking all these white people got involved in their countries, a lot of them didn't give a shit about gay people. It's not until these countries were colonized and gave them the idea to hate gay people. So I'm sure Uganda has a pretty gay past. I don't know anything about Uganda's history, like ancient history. I bet they had a lot of gay people in their history that were really important. You won't hear about it now though because they're on a murder spree of gay people. Yeah, a lot of indigenous people had a very strong gay community because gay wasn't a thing, so it was just people being people. And also trans people were accepted. They were just like third gender or two-spirit and all that.
How did we become refugees in our own countries?
The new law punishes gay sex with a life sentence for the crime of promoting homosexuality 20 years. It was watered down from an earlier version that criminalized merely identifying as LGBTQ. But this version imposes even harsher penalties for what it calls aggravated homosexuality, same-sex relations involving children, people with HIV, or other vulnerable people.
I mean, you hear that? They do it in America too. They constantly mix in, oh, you're gay? That means you want to fuck kids. And it's like, I didn't say that. You said that. No one wants to fuck kids, and if you're saying we want to fuck kids, we should look into your history. Because a lot of it's like, projection, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Of course we shouldn't be fucking kids, but don't lump that in with gay shit.
When you commit aggravated homosexuality, the law says you shall be liable to suffer death.
Across the globe, outrage. President Biden calling it shameful. The U.S. saying it will directly impede American aid to Uganda, including in fighting HIV/AIDS.
No, notice, America only gives a shit because this is an African country. And we only ever do shit like this because you notice Israel had similar stories. we ain't doing shit to Israel. We're going to do something to Uganda because they're an African country. And if there's one thing America doesn't give a fuck about, it's African countries.
The enactment of Uganda's Anti-Homosexuality Act is a tragic violation of human rights, of universal human rights.
Even Republican Senator Ted Cruz, not known as a champion of LGBT rights, calling it grotesque, an abomination.
Okay, I don't know if Uganda has some mineral that we want, but that's what I suspect, because why the hell do they care about Uganda?
While Secretary of State Antony Blinken threatens visa bans on Ugandan officials. But in Uganda, the law's chief backer brushing off U.S. threats.
Let all of us be subjected. In fact, let all Ugandans be denied visas to America, Canada, and the European Union.
As Ugandan lawyers challenge the law in constitutional court, other African nations may follow Uganda's example. Already, 32 of Africa's 54 nations criminalize homosexuality. Those countries make up nearly half of the 67 countries globally where being gay is a crime.
And I bet if you look at the history, it's a recent thing. I want to see. Whatever, except cookies. Yep, in Uganda in 2013, they did anti-gay laws. In Nigeria, 2014, probably following Uganda. So yeah, it looks like it started in Uganda in 2013, and then it spread. Almost like this dumbass idea went to Uganda from some Christian minister, whatever, those people who go to spread Jesus and shit. They went to Uganda, spread the ideas of gay is bad, and then the other countries adopted it because they wanted to point to some minority group instead of solving any of their own problems. Every country does this if they don't want to actually do anything helpful.
In Kenya, Tanzania, and Ghana, there are campaigns underway to replicate the new Ugandan law.
We are delighted to know that Uganda has been able to set the pace. It's a good thing that other countries are also taking up this issue.
Josh Letterman is joining us now, and it's such important reporting, Josh. I'm struck by the person who said, I'm a refugee now in my own country here. You talk about how more than half of African nations criminalize.
And that statement, I feel like a refugee inside my own country, that's going to come to America too. It's already happening. If we let it continue, so many people are going to feel like it's already happened to the Hispanic community. Like Obama sucked with deportations. And I think part of the reason his deportation numbers were so high is because he was just better at counting. But still, he was awful when it came to immigration. Trump literally had made the concentration camps that Obama had worse. And it made these people who just want to work in America feel like shit. And they feared for their own safety, so they stopped going back and forth across the border. Hispanic communities also feel like refugees when before they were just workers. Florida's also doing a really awful job at treating immigrants with any sort of dignity and respect. So we're just going to get more of this, I feel like a refugee inside my own country shit. Because I consider, if you're a worker in America and you work in a community, as long as you're working here, that's your community. So it doesn't matter where you're from or how you got here and what your immigration status is. You are a member of the community if you're working here. Yeah, exactly. We're all workers, and we just need to think of ourselves as one group.
Criminalize same-sex relationships here. Obviously, death penalty, extreme end of this. But talk about the comparison to punishments that people face in other African nations who are...
I think it's silly to say just the death penalty is the extreme end. If it's illegal to exist, that's extreme. Anything past that is unacceptable. Actually, extreme already is unacceptable. Anything past that is just insane.
Or LGBTQ+.
Yeah, it really varies across the continent, Hallie. There are a handful of other countries in addition to this one that do have
Nope, it's not.
Sharia law as part of their criminal systems and therefore do have the death penalty on the books.
Man, okay, blaming the fucking Sharia law I think is silly, because I think Sharia law has there's probably some good in it too, but like I said, I don't think you can blame just Sharia law. It's more than that, because I bet if you actually look at the history of Sharia law, it's probably not even really anti-gay. That was probably just added later because people want it to be. I think Uganda probably has a lot of problems, and they're just targeting the gay community
as a potential punishment for homosexuality. Then there are other countries like Tanzania and Sudan where they have a life sentence as the maximum punishment available under the law for gay sex acts. But then there are countries that have more limited measures, such as Tanzania, where it is illegal to provide condoms and lube to centers that deal, for example, with HIV/AIDS infection. But it's not just about the formal laws on the books, Hallie, because even in countries in Africa where there are not laws that explicitly outlaw homosexuality, there are very high rates of homophobic crime and even violence targeting LGBTQ people. And on the flip side of this, only one country in the entire continent has legalized same-sex marriage. That country is South Africa. Hallie?
So yeah, even though you see all this shit, I bet even in some of these African countries where it seems like, oh, they hate gay people, it's not true. If you look at the global acceptance of gay and lesbian people, it's not as bad as it looks. US is actually really good. That's why all these anti-gay laws are fucking dumb, because most people either like and accept gay people, or worst case scenario, don't give a shit. Most people just don't care, which I think is fine. You don't have to accept people, just don't care if they're gay. Some other high numbers: Nepal, really high. Norway, really high. Like, you hear some stories out of Norway too of stabbings and stuff of gay people, but on average, they have a high support of gay people. Exactly. If you're a dick, shut the fuck up. Sweden 91%, Netherlands 90%, Iceland 88%, Vietnam it's 51%, Bangladesh 43%, India 53%. Like, these numbers aren't great, but remember, India is a giant country too, so 53% is like 600 million people, something like that. And I couldn't tell you where the support would be coming from. Yeah. The share of worldwide say their area is a good place for gay and lesbian people to live, doubled from 25 to 50% over 10 years, according to a Gallup poll. So, again, this is good news. There are twice as many areas where gay people feel safe. Some places are going backwards, but that's always going to happen, because if we're not vigilant, it will go backwards. Like, I used to wonder, oh, what's the point of learning math? What's the point of learning some of these other subjects in school? And then I saw the pandemic happen, where I saw the dumbest ideas go to the front. And it's like, huh, you have a dumbass opinion. I bet you didn't even graduate school. It's okay, but it made me realize there's an importance to a proper education. It's to get some of these dumbass ideas out. So just learn as much as you can. There's no such thing as a useless class. It's all useful if it gives you a new perspective and new ideas out there. Fuck you. Say you're never going to use math again? I don't care. Learn it anyways. Countries with the highest percentage are Norway. Norway is always the top of every list. Sweden and the Netherlands. Yeah, those three countries are like, you know, always at the top of all these charts. U.S. ranked 15th with 80%. I think that's actually good news, because the U.S. doesn't rank top on shit. And that's actually a pretty good number in general. At like 80%, I wish it was higher, but like, you'll always find 20% of Americans disagreeing with anything. So that's actually really good. It means pretty much all of America agrees. Because that 20% doesn't matter. They can go shut the fuck up. Largest increase was Nepal, 63, and India with 42, and Bangladesh was plus 35. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So Nepal gained 63. So in 2012, it was like 10% and or 20%, and then it flipped. So Nepal went skyrocketing, which is cool. India jumped 42, which, yeah, like I said, it was down to like 10%, and now half the country accepts. Give it another 10 years, and I bet like it'll be closer to 70. That's awesome. So these trends going up is great. Bangladesh jumped 35. So like no one, 5%, which was the gay community. The gay community supported itself. And now almost half the country does. That's awesome. In 44 countries, at least 50% of residents saw their local area was a good place for gay or lesbian people in 2021. Progress was not uniform across all countries. Of course not, especially if a lot of people have growing to do. And accepting gay people is growing. Their share felt the area was a good place declined in Nicaragua by 15, in El Salvador by 7, in Paraguay by 5. So yeah, overall, global acceptance of gay people is up. So no matter what these stories are saying, more people like gay people than hate. Oh, so I discovered this recently. In Britain, someone like back in the 1800s wrote down the toast sandwich. The toast sandwich is just a piece of bread toasted. I think they sprinkle some salt on it, and then they put it between two pieces of bread. So it's a piece of toast in between two pieces of bread with some salt. They call it a fucking sandwich. This is the most British, boring piece of shit thing I've ever heard of. So yeah, enough of that silliness. This has been your week's gay news. Thank you all so much. Catch y'all next time.